And what is going on, baseball fans? Hello, hello, hello. Only a few people in the chat so far. We're going to wait for a few more people to come on in. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces in here. What's going on? We got a lot of members in here, actually. Johan, Wonder Davey, Ed Bagley, what is going on? Chris Raskin, what is going on, my friend? We got Nicholas here, one of our moderators. Hello. Ethan, what's going on? Ferris, hello. We got Kratster in here. We got BSBL Pig. We got Brendan DH. Jacob Toon is here. He was the first one in tonight. What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? Ethan Orlando, Salt of the Earth. Hello. Ben Myers watching the Twins and the Mariners FS Giants recap. What is going on? What's going on, everyone? How you doing? So we got a new show adding to the lineup for our weekly we're doing power rankings on Sundays, and every Monday we're going to be going over the week ahead. We're going to be previewing all the matchups coming up this week, all the players coming up for this week, players to keep a lookout for. Just taking a look at what to expect for the upcoming week. But for the first time on this channel, I will not be doing it alone. I will be having a co-host for this show. And I am proud to announce that joining me for this show will be one of my very best friends ever since middle school, Mr. Josh. Let me add him here. Josh, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
As everyone can see here, we are wearing very opposing jerseys and hats. So why don't we just kind of give a little bit of a rundown for everyone in the chat. Let's so what was it? Middle school, I think, when we first met. Man, I think it was what, 7th grade, right?
7th grade. So our friendship goes back a long time. 7th grade, middle school. You're right.
That's crazy. Like, so that was what, 2013? No, wait, no. Wow, that's crazy. 2004. Jesus, it hasn't been that long.
2003, 2004.
2003. Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Long time.
Time just absolutely, it just flies, man. It's I still remember every time. It seemed like I was always wearing a Red Sox shirt or jersey. Usually, I was wearing my home jersey, if anything, and then you were always wearing your Yankee one, and we were just always just talking smack all the time in the hallway. It was and now look at us. We've lived together. We go, I come over for Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, and who would have thought, and then
long continual friendship, even as the Yankees and Red Sox fans. Like you said, roommates, workout partners, my best man at my wedding. The list goes on and on and on. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a long time, it's been a long time, where I've been wanting this to happen. So, but yeah, I figured, you know what, we need a show where we do something once a week, where instead of my potato brain just sitting here at my desk, just rambling on and on and on, it'd be nice to have someone, and this to me felt perfect, honestly. But I figured what we're going to do is we're going to go over some matchups for the week. We're going to go over some players to keep an eye out for. And then, we'll just take a look at the chat and see what everyone else is thinking as well. So, but let's dive into it, shall we? Let's dive into it. So,
let's do it.
But before I do get started, also, everyone, we have a partnership with PrizePicks. PrizePicks, very similar to FanDuel and DraftKings, where with DraftKings and FanDuel, you're playing against other people. With PrizePicks, you're playing against the system. So it's all over unders. So if you go on to PrizePicks right now, you can go make a deposit. And if you use my code Ginger, it will match whatever you deposit. So definitely go check it out. I really like PrizePicks. I like the system that they have. And everyone, I have an announcement to make. We have a couple of announcements here tonight, but we have a new partnership. We are now partners with SeatGeek. If you use my code Hyde, if you go on to SeatGeek, first time purchase, you get $20 off your first purchase. So we've definitely been making strides here on the channel. So I want to thank everyone for that. man, oh man, we've really grown. So I definitely think that helped in helping us land a partnership with SeatGeek. So everyone, I want to thank you for that. So definitely take advantage. If you want to go see a game, whatever. I mean, I know everyone out here is looking to go to a game. So definitely take advantage of SeatGeek. And honestly, they do have pretty good deals. I've used SeatGeek myself before, so I'm not just using this to, try and make a buck or anything, but you can definitely score a pretty good deal on SeatGeek. So let's go take a look here. Let's get kind of into everything. So let's kind of go over some matchups for this week, series to keep an eye on. So Josh, why not? Your first time on the channel, first time on the show. Let's go over the Yankees and the Blue Jays. They're playing right now. It's a 2-0 game. How are you feeling about the Yankees? I mean, obviously, Yankees winning the series this past weekend, but my Red Sox were able to take one last night. Thank God for Jake Diekman in the end. But what are you feeling about the Yankees so far?
Yankees off to a good start. First 2 games were kind of iffy. I mean, obviously, you go out there the first inning. Garrett Cole just gets lit up right away, nonstop, just hit parade against him. And kind of getting worried there, like, oh, here we go again. Last time that we saw baseball was Yankees Red Sox. Garrett Cole getting taken out in the 3rd inning after 3 innings. So kind of, right at the beginning, worried about that. Good power from Anthony Rizzo. Happy to see him in the lineup. I know a lot of Yankees fans, Yankees Twitter was like, oh man, no Freddie Freeman, no Matt Olson. Happy to have him back. I tweeted out in the first game, hopefully everybody's taking a look at the fact that Rizzo provides not only a good bat, which is off to a great offensive start, but a great glove at first base as well with the defense. Overall, off to a good start. The bullpen has been on fire. I know it's 3-0 now. Michael King out there. But the bullpen's been great. Starters, obviously, not a lot of length at the beginning with the shortened spring training, but so far so good. A lot of runners left on base here in this game 3. So looking forward to see what's going on. Tough test right here against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are looking good.
2-0 right now. I think that's the last time or it's 3-0 now, bottom of the 7th.
Yeah.
Who's pitching for the Blue Jays tonight? We got
Manoah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that was one guy, this year, we always see these guys, they look really good their rookie season, and then they always have these, like sophomore slumps, but, I mean, he's looking really good here, and he pitched really well in Yankee Stadium last year too, right? I believe.
I think that was one of his first starts. I remember.
Was that his first start? I believe that was last year.
That was the game where they were showing his family up in the stands and his mom was going crazy. Yeah.
But no, I'm he's very good, man. The Blue Jays pitching hasn't looked all that great. I mean, obviously there's good bats in that Rangers lineup that they played, but the Blue Jays, that offense has just been, going crazy. Vlad Jr. just hitting an absolute, tank shot, the other day. But no, for the Yankees, I tweeted this out the other day where, I told you this too, where they just seem a little different. There's just something, I don't know what it is. Every time when a season starts and you watch your team and you watch some other teams, and especially with me and you, like we've watched, Red Sox, Yankees, how many times over the years, you kind of just get a different vibe, or you feel something about those teams. And the Yankees, to me, they just seemed just a little different. It was, seeing someone hit a home run and Josh Donaldson is, right at the top of the dugout, just cheering on his teammates. I'm sure that obviously happened quite a bit last year, but you never saw it. I don't know. The Yankees always just seemed really uptight last year. Just, I don't know. Like, did you feel that last year with them?
Always uptight. Last year didn't seem like a lot of fun until the end of the season, when they were like, about to be fighting for that playoff spot. This year's a lot different. Cashman, we saw Cashman say that basically Donaldson was brought in for that attitude. They got a full year of Rizzo, full year of Gallo. So I like those guys for the clubhouse as well. We saw Rizzo when he came over last year at the trade deadline just instantly be a a clubhouse guy, someone I think and I've said this to you many times, someone that they've been missing since Gregorius left, like a good clubhouse guy with that 2017 Yankees where had an amazing clubhouse. So, excited to see what's going to happen this year. It's early, obviously, but just excited to see what's going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, and for my Red Sox, just to kind of touch on them really quick, it's funny. Last night, I was doing my show last night, and I was kind of, ragging on Javier Baez because, he tried stealing home. They're down by 3, and I get trying to be aggressive, but it's like, what the heck is this guy doing? And of course, hits a freaking home run to win the game today for the Tigers in the 8th inning. So that's, of course, that would happen with me. So, but yeah, with my Red Sox, I would say in that Yankee series where they didn't look bad. They didn't look bad by any means. They were getting some key hits. They were getting some decent pitching. Just, in the first series, the Yankees just looked better. So that's how it's always is with the Red Sox Yankees. They're always just trading punches just throughout the season, And it just so happens, opening series, it's always going to have a little more weight to it. People are everyone always overreacts that first week. Everyone thinks, oh my God, we lost opening day. Our season's done. But no, what I was saying earlier with the Yankees, like I've seen many opening days with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and the Yankees just seemed something was a little different. I don't know. They had a different energy about them. It was funny with Garrett Cole. Everyone was thinking he was trying to get everyone like fired up or whatever, but he was just, what was he doing? He was yelling about, these, the guys taking too long on the field or whatever in the pregame ceremony.
He said he was upset about the pregame festivities. It took too long, which to me is like, come on, like, what was it? Another 5 minutes. You let that go on. It happens one day a year. Yeah. Let it go on. And you can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah. Garrett Cole, he's an interesting one. I mean, that's another guy this year. I'm looking for him to really, the second half last year. Honestly, he wasn't all that bad in the second half last year. The ERA, wasn't spectacular, but his FIP looked pretty good. It just seemed like he didn't have the same feel on the ball in the second half. He wasn't bad by any means. There was that one start against the Astros where he was like, he just went crazy in that game. So, he's there. I think he's my pick for Cy Young this year. So, but yeah, well, let's move on. So we kind of already touched on our Red Sox Yankees. Let's get that out of the way. What's one series that you're looking for this week?
The series I'm looking for this week, starting tomorrow in Minnesota, Twins Dodgers. Little interleague, early season interleague action. Twins, obviously, a ton of acquisitions this offseason. The Dodgers right there again. Dodgers easily are the best team on paper if you're just looking straight, a team right off of that. In Minnesota, interested to see what's going to go on. The Dodgers kind of slipping out of the gate here. I know, obviously, we're one series into the season, but going up against Colorado, losing 2 out of 3 against the Rockies, who many people said are not going to do anything this year. Again, early in the season, I get it, but Twins looking good. I mean, they're winning right now 4-0 against Mariners. The Mariners are another good team, so interested to see that series and see.
Yeah, I think this was my World Series pick in 2020. This was, I believe, right? I picked the Twins to go to the World Series. I did pick the Dodgers to win in 6 games in 2020. I got that right. So for all of you out there in the chat saying, Robbie can't get anything right, I did pick the 2020 World Series champion, so eat my shorts. But the Twins, of course, disappointed me that year. But this would be fun. I had Chris Archer going in that first game. This is, man, me and you are both very familiar with Chris Archer, with the Rays. He was so good in some of those starts against us. And man, I want this guy to get back on track. That'd be great if he can really get himself going with the Twins, but that's an interesting matchup here with Andrew Heaney too. 2 guys looking to really get themselves back on track. We're looking at the next game here. Clayton Kershaw going. Chris Paddock making his debut with the Twins. That'll be fun. I think Chris Paddock, man, a lot of people, they think this guy is just, he's lost it, but I don't think he has. There were some good signs with him. I mean, obviously he wasn't at his best last year. He was hurt last year, but his FIP looked really good last year. Still good strikeout or decent strikeout numbers. Doesn't walk really a lot of guys. I think Chris Paddock's going to end up being pretty good. Did you see what he said about, he kind of threw a little bit of shade at the Padres and their uniforms? Did you see that?
Yeah, I threw some shade at the Padres, the brown and gold, saying basically I feel like I worked for UPS. So I like that.
I'm sure that has been said a lot by people, but I never saw that ever. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, wow. I never thought of that. I never thought about the UPS driver. And now that's all I can see. It's honestly, they need to change their jerseys. I'm sorry, Padres fans. You know what? Listen, you lost all your prospects, whatever. You got a few left, but get rid of the jerseys too, because all I see is just it's UPS drivers. I'm sorry. I mean, hey, I've had good luck with UPS though. But
what can Brown do for you?
Oh man.
What about you, Robbie? What's the series that you're looking for here? I know Dodgers Twins, that's a big one. Clayton Kershaw, Chris Paddock. What about you?
Let me real quick. Let me just see who was going for game 3, actually, or is that only a 2-game series? Never mind. But yeah, let me come back here. How do I stop this? There we go. Still getting used to the StreamYards a little bit. So I'll be honest with you. I mean, we're talking about, the Padres here in the UPS uniforms. What a perfect segue. The Giants and the Padres, I think these are two teams. I think they're going to be right there in the end. I have them both making the playoffs. I have them both getting wild cards in the end. I think this is going to be, a series between these two where, hey, the Giants, I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on them this year because, they lost Buster Posey. They think they're going to take a huge step back. But, I think the Giants, they're still really good, and I still think they're going to make it in the end. And the Padres obviously have a ton to prove. I like this division matchup. Nick Martinez, making his debut, and I think that he was, to me, a bit of an underrated signing, this offseason, kind of a low-key one. He wasn't very good when he was in the majors a few years ago. He went to Japan, looked pretty good over there. Now, came over to the Padres, what was like a 4 or 5 year deal. Not a whole lot of money, but I think to me, especially now that you don't have Chris Paddock, this is a guy I'm really looking to see what he can do. I believe he is making his debut tonight. And then, of course, my Cy Young pick going in game 3 of that series, Logan Webb. I mean, I'm going to be paying attention to every single start Logan Webb makes. I think he's extremely fun. I don't know what like in the postseason last year. He was incredibly fun to watch. I mean, not Tim Lincecum kind of fun level. Like, that was a guy I always wanted to see what he did. But I'm kind of the same way with Logan Webb a little bit. I don't know why. He gives me some Greg Maddux kind of vibes. I love Greg Maddux. And Logan Webb, he's kind of one of those crafty sort of guys. I'm really excited for him. But yeah, Giants Padres, that's a big one for me. And I'll touch on a player here in a little bit for the Giants when we go over some players. But what about you? What's your next one that you're looking for?
I'd say, honestly, it's a series that's going on right now, which the Rays didn't look too good this morning or this afternoon, I should say. But I was going to say Rays-A's because the Rays easily swept the Orioles. I know it's the Orioles' first game of the series, but they had a good shot of like, hey, just took over against the Orioles, take over against the A's. It didn't happen this afternoon. But that's another one I'm interested to see because the AL East is going to be tight. There's been a lot of projections basically saying, could be a 4-way tie, Red Sox, Yankees, Jays, and Rays. So it was a good opportunity for them to take the lead here in the beginning, but not happening here in game 1.
Yeah, what the heck here? Good grief. 13 runs. Like, they just scored 4 in the 9th. What? I mean, I thought they didn't have any players. I mean, look at Elvis Andrus going 3 for 5, 3 RBIs tonight. Who is Brown? Who is this? Seth Brown.
Come on, yeah.
Look at him having himself 3 RBIs tonight. Pinder. That was another guy. Pinder actually had some pretty decent advanced numbers on Baseball Savant. I did my possible breakout players. I didn't put Pinder because he's been around for a little while, but I looked at some of the advanced numbers on Baseball Savant, and he actually had some pretty decent numbers. So I mean, I think he actually ends up being pretty decent. But look at these guys. You got Noose at third base, 4 RBIs tonight. What the heck? Who was pitching for the Rays tonight? What the heck is going on here? Oh, Patino. Man, oh my God, Mazza gave up 8 runs, 7 hits. Well, I guarantee they didn't have a lot of tickets sold for that game, and I'm pretty sure everyone. God, could you imagine being there right now? We have been to Tropicana Field how many times, and I guarantee you, there can't even. I mean, how many people do you think are even still at this stadium? I mean, my God, probably what, a couple thousand, maybe.
The vendors,
man. I'd be surprised. Maybe the guy that's banging his little cowbells is hanging around there, probably. But yeah, the Rays, pretty embarrassing here, honestly. Like, especially against an A's team that really seems like they don't have anything going. So but yeah, very interesting. But yeah, I like that one. I would have loved this series if this was the A's last year. I mean, 2 small market teams. This was to me, this was all in the last few years of the A's and the Rays. This was just a fun playoff kind of a matchup, But yeah, anyway, but what can you do with the A's? So, where do you think Montas is going to end up going? He's got to be traded at some point. He has to be.
I mean, so Manaea was the easy one because obviously this was the last year. But Montas, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You got to see where the team's going to be at by the trade deadline. I thought he was going to be dealt before the season. I figured that was going to be the perfect time to deal him before the season. You get everybody off the team. You start off with, the team that you're going to try to do something with this year. The fact that he's still on the team is kind of surprising to me. A lot of rumors. So many teams are going to need starting pitching. Yeah. Interested to see what, my team, the Yankees, are going to do, how the starting pitching is going to hold up for them. Yeah. Maybe there's going to be another team that's, hey, we're going to make a second half run. Yeah. You just mentioned the Giants, the Padres. What are the Padres? How are the Padres going to be looking at, the All-Star break?
Yeah.
Tatis, just dealt Paddock. How's the starters going to do? We saw them lose early season kind of heartbreaker against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Just interested to see what, that's another team, the Giants, maybe. The Giants.
Giants, man, that could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Interested to see what Rodon's going to do. Can he stay healthy? A lot of teams. Your Red Sox.
I think Montas, I think they felt like, we don't really need to trade him right now, because he's under control. He's not a free agent for a little while. And, trade deadline, people are going to overpay. Look what, Jose Barrios, they got themselves back a couple of really good prospects in that trade. And, the A's are probably thinking we don't need to trade him right now. It's a little, obviously, there's always risk where you never know what can happen. First half, maybe he just ends up just completely tanking. Who knows? But they probably have enough confidence to where they think he'll be fine. So that'll be interesting. I've been saying here on the channel, man, I think the Yankees would be just perfect. They need a number 2, unless someone steps up in that rotation. Severino's always that guy, but I don't know. Montas, he would be really good. But I'm wondering, if there's going to be any surprise teams. We'll talk about the Guardians here in a little bit because I have a player that I think everyone in the chat knows who I'm talking about. We'll get to that player here in a little bit, but maybe even a team like the Guardians could move, pull off some kind of a trade for him if they're in contention at that point, where people think I'm nuts for thinking they're going to win at least 90 games, but. I am just saying they're off to a pretty good start here. And now, everyone's like, oh my God, look at the Guardians, man. Oh man. But anyway, I digress. So another series that I really like, that's one going on right now, actually a close game, Mets and the Phillies. You got a lot of good division matchups this week. That's what I really like about this week. So let's go actually take a look here at the game going on. So yeah, 4-3. The Mets actually have, coming into today, they had the best offense in the major leagues. Everyone's thinking, all these teams scoring runs, but the Mets actually on Fangraphs coming into today had the best offense, a 10.7 offense coming in, hitting 293 as a team through the first few games, almost a 400 on base, walking a good amount. So got to like what the Mets are doing, but this is a good one tonight. And I think it's going to be, a dogfight at the end, honestly. Mets and the Phillies. This Phillies lineup just looks ridiculous. When you look in here, Schwarber leading off. I mean, you saw Schwarber last year. How good he was with the Red Sox. I thought that was the perfect move. Oh, Rhys Hoskins just did something. Oh, man. In play runs. Oh, man. What just happened with Rhys Hoskins? Oh, he doubled, huh? Tie game. Got a tie game here. So, like I said, I really like this matchup, but you got a really good offense with the Mets so far. But actually, in this game, Taijuan Walker, I don't know if you saw this earlier, Taijuan Walker, he actually had to leave. Another pitcher having some shoulder soreness. I mean, what are you thinking about all these guys? Like, do you think spring training was kind of rushed, or like, I mean, obviously it was rushed, but like, do you think that's going to end up being a big thing down the road?
100%. I mean, like, obviously you're going to have a abbreviated spring training. The hitters always complain about it. Like, hey, it's a little long for us, which as a hitter, I get it, but spring training is really for the pitchers. And when you have an abbreviated spring training, that's why you see a lot of teams now with this extra 2 roster spots with a 28-man roster. They're throwing 2 guys in there in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I know the Yankees are doing it. They're having a 3-man bench. A lot of other teams are doing it where they have an expanded bullpen because you need arms early. When you're getting these guys worked up, now it's like I know the Yankees, a lot of other teams, they're holding guys at 75 pitches, and you're lucky to get 4 or 5 innings at 75 pitches nowadays. But yeah, I mean, you're having to work these guys up in regular season games, which is always tough. Yeah. So unfortunately, you might see a lot of arm injuries here early.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I would have been okay if they had just pushed the regular season back another week or two. Like I would have been perfectly fine with that. It felt really rushed. Obviously had the lockout and everything, but I feel like it would have went a really long way for these guys to just get another week or two. I mean, we had baseball back, so it's, we waited long enough. Well, we couldn't wait a couple more weeks. I felt like that would have been really good. And hey, what can you do? But with this Mets Phillies series, like I said, Taijuan Walker leaving early tonight. That just means Tyler McGill, he looked really good in his debut. So he's really going to have to, step up. He's going in this series, but he's going up against Zach Wheeler, and that's going to be Zach Wheeler's debut. And we got a really good matchup in Game 3. Max Scherzer, Aaron Nola. That's a great matchup. I mean, what an awesome pitching matchup that's going to be. So, they both looked okay in their debuts. But again, with these pitchers, like you said, they're still in spring training mode. I was saying this last night. We're not seeing, I mean, it's all, even in, normal years, these pitchers, they're still working their way up. They're still working through some things. You're not seeing, Garrett Cole, he's always been kind of a slow starter. Go back to 2019 when I think he should have won the Cy Young. He got off to a really slow start. A lot of these guys get off to slow starts. And when you're just, speeding up spring training, that's not going to, make it any better. But I do like the Scherzer Nola matchup. That's one I'm going to keep an eye on. So what about you? What's another matchup you're looking for this week?
Another matchup that I'm looking for, it's happening later on this week. A lot of people picked this team. I know Trevor Plouffe, you and I were talking about it, picked this team to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Again, another division matchup, Cardinals Brewers.
Yeah, I got that too.
Brewers off to a really rough start.
Yeah.
Did not play well the first series. Didn't look good really at all, like on any aspect, with pitching, with hitting. And that's where they really fell short last year. I mean, they had amazing pitching last year. The hitting, the offense couldn't get anything done late in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ended up losing. But, I mean, here we are early in the season. Again, early in the season. But I think that's a great matchup.
It's going to be fantastic. And I got to love, I love these. Are these new, these Brewers uniforms?
They had them last year.
Did they have? I feel like something's different about these uniforms. Is it the hat?
The hat looks different.
The hat. I was about to say, like, something. Man, they look great. But yeah, Woodruff got off to a horrible start. But the Cardinals. Let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit. I know they played the Pirates, so whatever. But they looked really good. I'm going to talk about one player that I'm going to be on the lookout for this coming week. But a good division matchup. I have the Cardinals winning this division this year. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there still having the Brewers winning this division, but they're off to a slow start here. And I definitely think Woodruff's going to get himself back on track. But, Miles Michaelis this year, I think he's a low-key kind of a guy. He's had some health issues in the last couple of years. I think that he's going to end up being a big piece for the Cardinals this year. Him, Dakota Hudson. If they can just get Jack Flaherty back, get him back healthy, oh, man, that Cardinals rotation, it looks pretty good. So, but yeah, I really like this matchup. Just good pitching all around. Good guy. The Cardinals are hitting really well. We'll talk about, some of their guys here in a little bit, but the Brewers, they are, off to a bit of a sluggish start, 1-3. So, yeah, that is one matchup I actually had down. Speaking of division matchups, let's see if it's actually right here. And actually before, I'll talk about, we're staying with the division matchups. Let me go to, I believe it's this weekend. Where is it? We got the Astros and the Mariners. Good matchup here. Honestly, this is the year. I know I'm maybe going a little bold, but I think this is the year. The Mariners, I think they just go crazy this year, and I think they take it. I think they take this division this year. I'm probably crazy. Well, I know I'm crazy, but I'm really excited for this matchup a lot. I think the Mariners, this is their chance to really, say, hey, I mean, they did last year. They really showed what kind of a team they were last year, but it's a new year this year. So I think this is their chance to really come in and just say, hey, we're here to play. We're going for this division this year. The only thing is no Robbie Ray in this series, no Logan Gilbert. But, I'll kind of give a spoiler. One, player that I am looking out for this week is Matt Brash. He will be making his debut this week, but he actually, I believe, lines up for game 3 of this series. So really excited for him as a prospect this year. That slider he has. If you haven't seen Matt Brash's slider, please go on YouTube, do yourself a favor, go take a look at his slider. It looks pretty good, but really excited for this matchup. Did you see what do you think of the Astros' new uniforms?
I like it. I saw there was
I love them.
There was a post that had Bregman. Looks like he put on about 80 pounds.
I got to see that. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that up. Alex Bregman. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me.
There it is. It is.
It reminded me of remember the picture with Eric Hosmer this offseason?
That got us so bad before the season. I was really concerned for Eric Hosmer for a while. I was
my God. Like I actually, this is like a trend. I don't know what is going on. Like these people out here on Twitter, they're just making these guys look I mean, he looks more plump than me. And that's saying something. So Alex Bregman, man, he looks like he's a good, he looks like that one science teacher that we had back in it. Well, I didn't have him, but I think you had him in middle school. What was his name? What was that science teacher's name in middle school?
Mr. McCarthy.
Did he have a beard?
He had a mustache. So if you throw a mustache on Alex Bregman there, he would look like Mr. McCarthy in middle school.
You know who this looks like?
That could be you in your hash brown days.
Oh my God, man.
Your hash brown days?
Eating eggs and hash browns like 4 times a day. Oh man. You know who this looks like? This looks like Coach Young from high school.
Yeah.
That's Coach Young right there. But Alex Bregman, we gotta work off some of this weight. But I am definitely excited for the Astros and the Mariners. That's going to be a good one. Any other matchups you're looking for?
The last one that I'm looking for, so this is not a divisional matchup, but I'm interested to see what the Cubs are going to do. So I know they're playing the Pirates. So have a chance to throw on some more wins here early because they're another team that out of the Central, everybody said they're not doing anything this year. This is a rebuilding year. They got rid of everybody last year. But they're playing another team that got off to a hot start that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Cubs and Rockies.
Oh, yeah.
In Colorado.
Love it.
So we'll see what the Cubs do again against the Pirates. But then I'm expecting some wins, Cubs against the Pirates, but then Cubs, Rockies, we'll see where the Rockies are at the end of the week. But two surprising teams potentially could have some nice looking records coming into the weekend to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, and hold on, let me pull it up here. Let me share the screen. But there we
A little
go.
bit of Chris Bryant with the Cubs.
Yeah,
the Rockies.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Let me are they starting their series on the 14th, or is that
they are starting, I think, on Friday.
So that's the 14th, right?
That is the 14th.
So yeah, no pictures announced yet. Actually, we can go on Fangraphs and we can take a look here. That's the one thing with the Cubs, man, is not a lot of starting pitching. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying Thursday they start. So Thursday the 14th is the
okay, Thursday. So so you got Justin Steele going game 1, and then Marcus Stroman will go game 2. So it looks like they don't really have a guy for Saturday as of yet. I'm just saying, listen, I know this is maybe, we're all about overreactions so far this week, but if the Rockies keep this going, everyone in the chat, just, I told you so. I'm just saying, I've been sitting here saying, how many times now, don't sleep on the Rockies. The lineup looks good. They play good defense. If they can just get enough starting pitching, that you don't need amazing start. Here's the thing with starting pitching, you don't need like this glamorous looking rotation to be a good team. If you just have guys that make their starts every 5 days, if they can just give you, 5 innings, decent, maybe 2-3 runs earned, let the bullpen take over. That's kind of what pitching is a lot of these days. Teams are looking at their bullpens now. If the Rockies can just get enough out of that rotation, now I know that might be asking a lot of this Rockies rotation, but they got some decent arms in that bullpen. I like Alex Colomé for the Rockies. I think that cutter works really well in Coors Field. I really like the Rockies. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they're going to be pretty decent. The lineup looks great. I love the defense. They had one of the best defenses last year. Chris Bryant's not an amazing defender, but he can play adequate defense at multiple positions. I really like the Rockies this year. You got some guys on here. If we take a look, you got a lot of decent players here. Brendan Rodgers, I'm really excited about this year. Ryan McMahon, I think, is pretty solid. Connor Joe, that's a guy that I had on my possible breakout players last night. Randall Grichuk, I love that move for them. I mean, they had Raimel Tapia, where with the Rockies, you need guys that can hit for power. That's what the Rockies, they need to take advantage of Coors Field. Raimel Tapia just wasn't really a great fit. He was more of a better fit for the Blue Jays, in my opinion, but really like this lineup with the Rockies, and no one's really paying attention to them. I'm just saying, it probably won't happen, but don't be surprised if this Rockies team is, hanging around the trade deadline and, maybe they go make a trade. I do like a couple of these guys in the rotation. Bard and Colomé back there. You've got some decent arms in here. It's not an amazing bullpen, but I don't think this Rockies team is completely terrible. But looking at the Cubs, they're off to the one word I wanted to use to describe the Cubs was just fun, because they got a fun looking lineup. If you go look at their lineup here, I love Nick Madrigal. Nick Madrigal is, we talk about this a lot, where we were just talking about Joey Gallo earlier today, and where, gets strikes out like a million times, but we were talking about like we want more of these guys where they can just hit. How do you feel about do you want to see more guys that can just simply get hits?
Of course. You definitely want guys that are going to put the ball in play. You definitely want guys that are going to make contact. Nobody wants to watch a game where you got strikeouts galore. That's not exciting. That's not exciting for the fan. Baseball has been talking about how are we going to get more fans involved. It's not via the strikeout. Nobody wants to see that 15 times a game. So if you're able to get guys that are able to make contact, put the ball in play, yeah, you definitely want that. And what you were talking about with the Rockies here just a minute ago, I know we switched over to the Cubs, but Grichuk was huge. Yankee killer. I mean, a great bat, good defense. They've got a good team. Their offense is good. And I think that was a huge upgrade, over Tapia to bring Grichuk. I was excited for it. I'm happy to get him out of the AL East. But
Yeah.
you definitely want guys that are going to put the ball in play.
Sorry to interrupt here, but it looks like we might have something brewing. Hold on one second here. We have a little bit of a trade rumor brewing. Hold on, I just got a notification. Looks like possibly Frankie Montas could be on the move here. We were just talking about Frankie Montas not too long ago. Let's share the screen. We could be having some breaking news here. It's looking like the White Sox are close to acquiring Frankie Montas. Wow. What do you think about this?
I like that. We were just talking about teams that may need him. Well, the White Sox are another one. How long is Lance Lynn out? I know they say, maybe about a month, 6 weeks. I don't know. When you're a pitcher, you need your legs. He had a torn meniscus in his knee. I don't know how significant that was for him, but they were saying 4 to 6 weeks with him being out. You throw in Frank Montas all of a sudden, that's a staff. Everybody's talking about, I know you picked the White Sox to go deep. A lot of people are picking the White Sox to go to the World Series or go deep and win the Central. Adding another, 2-3 guy like him to that staff, that makes it a lot more interesting. I like that move a lot. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think that's really big. They've been having some injuries. Now I'm wondering who could be the guy going back. So there were some rumors. I'll pull them back up in a second. Hold on one second. I'm just kind of fixing up the title and everything here. But there were some rumors, maybe Andrew Vaughn. We were actually talking about these rumors last night, and the A's wanted Andrew Vaughn. So here, let me go back here. Let me share the screen. So taking a look here, if you are just coming in, it's looking like the White Sox might be close to acquiring Frankie Montas, according to Mike Deportes. This would be really big. So let's go take a look here at the White Sox current rotation. Lance Lynn, he's been having some issues so far. Wasn't something going on with Giolito too?
They always seem to have one or two guys that are iffy to go, and like, how are they going to do with the staff? Andrew Vaughn's interesting because he's been playing a lot of outfield. He is a first baseman by trade. That's locked up, obviously, with Abreu there at first.
Yeah.
Interesting move. I mean, he's another one of these guys that's an example, great young guy who is replaceable on the White Sox. I mean, they just traded for Pollock, obviously. You got him out in the outfield. You got the outfield's pretty much taken between Pollock, Luis Robert, and Eloy Jimenez. So where is Vaughn playing?
Yeah, to me, I would be, if I were to take my pick, I mean, I'm going Vaughn. Like, this was your number one, first round pick.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, and especially with the hot start that he's off to. But let's put together a trade here on Baseball Trade Values. It's going to cost a lot to get Frankie Montas. It is not going to be cheap. Taking a look here, Frankie Montas, as you can see, worth right around $40 million. So it's going to cost. And the White Sox, they don't have a lot of prospects, but they do have some young guys. And we talked about, and as you can see with Andrew Vaughn, if you look at his value, right around $35 million. So
it's pretty
him.
Close.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
I was saying it's pretty close. I mean, they're not that far off, even just a straight up Vaughn for Montas. And we saw several trades already this offseason that, according to the trade values, have been off. Like, they haven't been like 100% lined up. They're close.
Yeah, there have been some. Yeah. Let me see here. Let me go to, because we were just talking about this last night. Let me pull up Vaughn. Yeah, it's funny how I was wondering if this was going to get done. But I mean, he makes a lot of sense for the White Sox. They're in win now mode. And I don't know if Andrew Vaughn is going to be the guy that goes back. but he definitely would really close the gap in terms of value. Now, if you weren't doing Vaughn, I would they do Kopech? I don't. Would you think they would do Kopech?
No way.
I mean,
There's
I
no.
don't see why because they
I don't
need
see.
pitching.
Yeah, I don't see Kopech being a good fit to
Yeah,
go back to the A's because that's a huge bullpen piece. Vaughn makes sense. Vaughn makes sense because he's kind of a guy who, yeah, he's a great young talent, but he's a guy without a position right now. The outfield is full.
yep,
If you're playing Pollock out in right field all the time,
yeah,
first base is manned by Abreu. I know he's getting up there in age, but I mean, he's not on his way out, I don't think.
right.
Vaughn, I know, is a young first baseman, but you know, a starter is a starter, and you have Montas for another, what is it, 2 years of control after this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to
But
me, a starter is more valuable than a young first baseman.
yeah,
Young
and
first basemen
and
are out
that's
there.
and I think with Vaughn, he's obviously going to have more of an opportunity in Oakland. I mean, I feel like, last
Definitely.
year, because they were it was a weird situation last year because this is a win now team with the White Sox. And you got these young players where, I mean, yeah, it's always nice to have a balance of, good veteran guys, young players. It's always a nice balance, but there was just something that, they weren't quite clicking. They were going with Sheets. They were going with Vaughn. You also got, you got Jake Berger down here as well. Um, you also got Angel on the bench. So it would be tough to lose Vaughn, but at least you would be. I mean, obviously you're getting Montas. And when, it kind of makes me wonder, I wonder if there's more wrong with Lance Lynn. I wonder if there's something more where maybe he's going to need a little longer on the IL. Um, I don't know. I wonder if there's something we don't know about that. But Giolito, he's going to be going on the IL. He's still right there, but La Russa said a couple days ago that he's definitely going to require a trip to the IL with a low abdominal strain.
I don't
So
like that.
yeah, they're falling apart. And that's the thing with the White Sox is they don't have a lot of minor league depth, but they have young guys at the major league roster where, it would be tough for them to lose Vaughn. That really would be tough, but um, because that's a guy I think he has a future, man. But could you imagine him with the A's?
That's a
I
huge
mean,
pickup for the A's. I mean, here we go. We were just talking about that, you and I, this offseason, like who's going to be the replacement for Olsen. There you go.
yeah,
There it
yeah.
is.
There you go. I mean, could you and look at if you add Vaughn to this team, all the potential in the world. You got someone like Christian Pache, where this was a former top prospect. He's still in the top 100 prospects because he's phenomenal. People are saying his glove is even better than Andrew Jones. You got obviously a young guy in Sean Murphy, but who knows if he ends up staying because you got someone like Langlier's down in the minor leagues who you got in the Matt Olson trade. Um, Man, they could you imagine, Pache, Vaughn, Langliers or Murphy or whatever the heck you do at catcher, you got some pretty decent guys. And looking at some of the other minor leaguers here, they got back in the Matt Chapman trade, they got back Kevin Smith. And that's another guy where, good minor league numbers, power numbers in the minor leagues. Um, there were a couple other guys here. I'm going blank. Who was another guy that they got? They got back Cusick. They got back JT Ginn.
Yep.
Those are some pretty decent pitching prospects that they got back in the trade they had with for Chris Bassett and then the Matt Olson trade. So man, the A's, they're doing a great job, man. And if you get Andrew Vaughn, that is just icing on the cake, man.
Billy
So,
Bean.
but yeah, Billy Bean still working his magic. But again, if you are just tuning in, we have a report out here from Mike Deportes of Univision, I believe, where he's the analyst, MLB insider for the Cubs and the White Sox in Spanish. I got to tell you, a lot of these guys, the Espanol guys, they've been on it this offseason. We've had a lot of guys out there, in the, out here in the I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
They always
But
throw out the spicy rumors. I love it. I love
I
it. I
know
love it from them.
we saw that a lot last. What was it with Luis Castillo last year?
Oh
I
my
love
God,
that.
Luis Castillo was going everywhere. Every 5 minutes he
God.
was going somewhere.
Yeah. But if this does get done, I really do like it for the White Sox, and I love it for the A's, man. You know, that's like Andrew Vaughn. That's like an Oakland A kind of a player. You know, every time I think of the A's, I just always think of Jason Giambi. Like I always think of him. Like I don't know why he just always comes up into my head, but that's just a power hitting, first baseman. You know, could play some outfield too. I would love that for the A's, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. If anyone does have anything, if you see anything before we do, let us know. So, but if we take one more look at what a trade could look like, again, Andrew Vaughn, he seems to be the guy, unless they do like a ton of prospects. Maybe you could do, if you didn't do Vaughn, which I'd imagine it has to be Vaughn. I mean, you could do Kath, you could do Montgomery. I mean, whatever, send back Sheets. I mean, Berger. I mean, as you can see here, their depth really runs thin. The values really start to just drop off. I mean, could you do Cespedes? I mean, you got Colas there too, but those guys are a little unknown at the moment. But whatever, throw Cespedes in there too. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they do this. You're giving up your whole farm, basically. I mean, this gets you pretty close.
Yeah. I think they traded for a lot of guys this offseason that aren't quite ready yet. I mean, outside of Pache and Langoliers, they traded for a couple of guys that are, not right there. I think this one, honestly, if you did a 1-for-1 swap, I don't think they would say no. I think honestly, 1-for-1 on here. We had a question in the chat. How much is Montas owed this year? A little over $5 million. So not a whole lot.
He's not making a whole lot. So, and that's why his value is so high. Yeah. When you have guys that perform on the field and they don't cost a lot, and they have control in their contract, it's gonna cost a lot to get those kind of guys. So, but I don't think this trade happens because you're basically just giving up everything in your farm at this point. I mean, Montas is great, but to me, it's not worth giving up all these guys. Just completely taxing your farm system at that point. So to me, it has to be Andrew Vaughn. I don't see Vaughn, and if you do a straight up deal, I think that could get it done. Maybe throw in one more guy, possibly. So
maybe Vaughn and some cash. Maybe throw in, a Pepsi machine like in Moneyball. My guys want some sodas.
Oh, I love that movie. It's a great movie. Brad Pitt, he's so handsome in that movie. Man,
love it.
God, I love that movie. All right, well, we'll have to keep an eye on this. We just jumped up to 91 people in the chat. It looks like the Frankie Montas trade rumors are helping us pick up the pace here with the chat. Everyone, if you can, hit that like button for us. We're just talking about the week ahead here in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, hey, I think we kind of went over all of our matchups that we were excited for. So just to kind of recap, we both mentioned the Cardinals and the Brewers. You like the Cubs and the Rockies. I was talking about the White Sox and the Mariners. I mean, Mariners and the Astros, Giants, Padres, Mets, Phillies. There's a lot of good matchups this week. It's a fun week for baseball. But yeah, let's move on. Let's kind of dive into some players that we're both going to be looking out for. And I mean, we've had a couple of pretty fun players this week, but we just went over the series. But let's go over players to look out for. I'll give you the oh, wait, hold on. Why isn't your mic? Can't unmute. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, players to look out for. So who is your first player that you're going to be on the lookout for this week?
I'd like to see what Matt Olson is going to keep doing because he has been absolutely on fire to start the season. Came into today hitting 571 coming into today, which is insane. He had like back-to-back 3-hit games, making Braves fans kind of forget about Freddie Freeman. I'm not going to go that far to say completely forget about Freeman, but you're going to see the production this guy is going to put up, and this guy's a stud. So to see him, what he's going to do, the next series and this week going forward? Can he keep it going?
Yeah.
That's my number one guy I'm looking for this week to see, can he keep it going?
Hey, what you just said reminds me of what Bob Nightingale said when after Freddie Freeman went to the Dodgers. What was the quote again? He will always be loved, but he will be forgotten. Was that how it went?
He's on Cameo if you guys want to check.
Oh my God. Like, I don't know why. It was just like, it just felt so, you never see every time I see Bob Nightingale on Twitter, I just see his, his picture or whatever. So to just see him in video form, it was just, I didn't know how to feel about it. I felt almost uncomfortable, if that makes sense. I never see this guy like talk or anything. So, and, but yeah, you got to get a cameo. I mean, I tweeted this out earlier. What a great cameo that would be. A nice happy birthday. Happy birthday. You will be forgotten. I mean, that's the perfect birthday cameo that you can get. But yeah, definitely Matt Olson. I mean, if you take a look at the numbers here, he's definitely off to a hot start. 571, slugging 929. Are you kidding me? This guy's just going crazy in the first few games here. I'll talk about a guy who's been driving in, some runs as well. Nolan Arenado. I mean, look at the 7 RBIs. He's off to a crazy start. Nolan Arenado last year was not he was good last year, but some of his numbers were really kind of going down a little bit. The on-base numbers were down in the last couple of years, 2020 as well. I mean, look at his on-base in 2019, 379, and then 303 in 2020, 312. So there was something that he was doing, and his slugging was really down as well. Down about 100 points from 2019 and 21. So he's really off to a good start. I'm kind of looking at these numbers. Do you think there's any chance that Arenado could possibly be an MVP candidate?
Oh yeah. Everybody talks about. I kind of laugh when people say like, "Oh, he was just a stud in Colorado." No, he wasn't.
Right.
He's he looked awesome last year. He's gonna have a hell of a year this year. He is definitely an MVP candidate. 100% an MVP candidate.
I mean, yeah, I know obviously it's very early. It's a few games in. But man, this guy, he's just off to a start, and I wonder if he can end up being an MVP candidate for the eventual World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals. I think that would be really good. But who is another guy that you are looking out for this week?
Should I give the people what they want? Should I give the chat what they want right here? Or do you want to, is that your guy that I'm going to take from you?
I mean, I think I know who you're talking about, but no, this is your first time on the show. So this is all yours.
I mean, let's look at number 1 on that list and just get a little Kwan action. There we go. A little Steve Kwan. This guy is putting up Barry Bonds type numbers here with the on-base percentage and the average. I don't know where this guy came from. This guy is hitting off the charts. One of my good friends from work, he's a Royals fan, and he is driving him nuts because Kwan is like, who is this Kwan guy? Who is this Kwan guy? Let's take a look at this Kwan guy right here. Go ahead. Show him, Robbie.
I mean, just emptying the bases today with a triple. Are you kidding me? He's just all over the place. I'm just saying, hey, he's my rookie of the year pick. And, if we take a look at the numbers with Steven Kwan in the minor leagues, honestly, I'm giving a lot of credit to, Foolish Baseball. He was the one that kind of got my attention with him, and I was seeing his name on Fangraphs a lot. He's a Fangraphs kind of a guy where he wasn't in the top 100 on Pipeline or Baseball America, but he was in Fangraphs top 100 prospects, and for good reason. Look at his numbers in the minors. Last year, AAA, I mean, it was only 26 games with AAA, and he had 51 with AA, but AA, a 411 on base, 398 on base in AAA, pretty solid slugging percentages as well, especially for a guy that doesn't hit for a lot of power. 2019, still, I mean, you could see there was something that happened with him in between in this time frame from 2019 to 2021. I don't know if he was when he was with, like the the taxi squad or whatever. I don't know if he was just getting some good reps there or whatever it was, but he was doing something. I mean, he was putting up good on base numbers early on. Not a lot of games in 2018, but you could see there was a lot of on base potential. But then in 2019, it went down to 353. And I'm saying it like it's a bad thing, but it shot back up in last year. And he's just showing what kind of a hitter he is. He's a guy, he doesn't strike out. He has really good plate discipline. He just has a really good eye of the ball. Like it's incredible what he's doing. He's reached base 15 times in the first 4 games. Like, are you kidding? Now here's the question. Is he going to be last year's Yermin Mercedes, or do you think he's for real?
I think he's for real. I mean, we were talking about this in the beginning of the stream here. Like, hey, what would you rather see? Power guys or on base guys, or like guys that are just going to get on base? That on base percentage, obviously, it's not going to be 800. I mean, obviously, but that's something though. Those on base guys, that's not just like home runs and power. Those are more guys that can keep it sustainable because they just find a way to get on base. Contact, walks, just get it done. I mean, the Royals are not the Royals. I love the Royals from last year. I was all over the Royals and their offseason moves from the prior year. He's going to keep it going. I don't think he's going to keep this going, but he's going to be good. He's not going to be the Yermin Mercedes where he's just going to fall off and
get benched for hitting a home run.
Exactly.
Kwan, he's a different kind of a hitter where if you just watched the hits that he's gotten so far, he's hitting to all fields. He's not making, he's definitely gotten into a couple. He hit a double over this past weekend. He drove that one pretty well. He got into this one really good, and he's just hitting to all fields. He looks great, but I went with it, and a lot of people out here, they're picking. I mean, it's really early. I mean, who knows what ends up happening? That's what I'm interested in is these pictures, these teams. They're going to start getting more scouting on them. How is he going to adjust? But he seems like that kind of a guy that can make those adjustments. So I think he's going to end up being really good. Hopefully injury-free the whole season. But what I'm looking at with Steven Kwan, obviously, he's just getting on base. He's getting hits. He just looks comfortable out there. He just looks like he's been doing this for a while. He just seems different. So it's definitely a fun start for Steven Kwan. I really do hope he keeps it going. We're going to have to wait and see. But for another guy that I'm keeping an eye out for, I touched on him. I'm not going to touch too much on this one, but Tyler McGill, I think he looked really good in his debut. The Mets, they're really relying on him. He has another start this week, so looking to see what he can do. But another pitcher, Carlos Rodon. Did you see what he did in his last start in his Giants debut? I mean, he struck out 12 guys in 5 innings. This guy looked incredible. Carlos Rodon, he was going crazy, but he's going to be pitching again. And actually, speaking of Steven Kwan, he's going to be going up against the Guardians and Steven Kwan. So that's another matchup I'm actually a little excited for. Giants and the Guardians, 2 organizations where they kind of pick and choose how they like to spend their money. They rely a lot on analytics. I think that's actually a pretty fun matchup, the Giants and the Guardians. So looking out for that. Any other players you're looking out for this week?
I would say, I mean, Rodon should not be that big of a secret. I mean, we saw obviously what he did last year. I know in the offseason there was, who's he going to go to? Who's he going to go to? Kind of surprised he got, that short deal. I know a lot of concerns about his health in the past. But I'll move on. I would say, I mean, a Major League Baseball staple, but excited to see him hit his first home run this season and kind of like look like the player of old. Definitely a stud, Mike Trout. I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do. I mean, obviously, he came off of a long injury at the end of last year, the second half of last year. He was derailed for basically the whole second half of last year. Hit a home run early. I think it was yesterday, the day before. Looks like the Mike Trout that never left, never got hurt. So I'm looking
Yep.
forward to see what he's going to do in this weekend, because another team, like we were talking about, teams off to a good start. Angels off to a bad start. Again, it's early in the year, but it's just the same old out of the Angels. I'm sorry for my Angels fans in the chat, but they got to get this team going, because
looking okay so far tonight against the Marlins. So, but I'm really tired of this Angels team. It's like just win some games. I know that's easier said than done, but it's like I like the way the Angels are this year. I do like their team this year. We're talking about the Mariners and the Astros. I think this Angels team is really good. So I'm definitely, yes, a bit of a slow start, but I'm not gonna, it's very early, obviously. I'm not going to completely give up on them just yet. I'm not even close to. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, they're off to a good start here tonight, 4 runs. So yeah, Mike Trout, I mean, that's a player I'm just looking out for, this year. I think, but the big thing is he's never really been hurt before. Like he's never really had like a season like that where he missed a whole bunch of time. So I'm looking to see how he bounces back from that. Another guy, one of your guys, he's actually, I believe he is making his debut this week, is Nestor Cortez. How are you feeling about Nestor Cortez this year?
Nestor Cortez having a rotation spot, like jumping in. I'm excited for him. Nasty Nestor, all those crazy windups. This is that video of him doing the windup and like toe tap against Shohei, and Shohei having to step out of the box and laughing when he got back in the dugout. But he's just like one of those quirky guys. Not his debut. He did pitch. He did start last year several times. He actually, check out the stats from last year. He was better than Garrett Cole down the stretch, believe it or not. 2.9 ERA. He had 14 starts last year. I know he's like now starting the season off in the rotation. Definitely didn't start the season off last year in the rotation, but I'm excited for him. Number 5, let's see what he does. Nestor, keep it going, buddy.
Yeah. He's got some okay projections, 4.5 ERA. I think he can definitely beat these. But last year his FIP looked really good, 3.78. Walks are fine. Home runs per 9 were fine. Right around 10 strikeouts per 9. So he's going to be big for them. He's going to need to be. So, because we don't, how did you feel about Severino, in his first outing?
He looked good. He had the changeup working, which I was listening to Michael Kay and David Cohn kind of talk about it. And David Cohn, obviously, he's great at breaking down pitching.
Oh, you mean Michael Kay with the big head?
With the long face.
What did Jeff Passan say again? He said, wow, like it's amazing how much smaller your screen is than mine, but your head is still the same. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And then he came back and said, well, the Yankees are losing, so I could see why I have a long face. Just coming out hot.
Jesus.
No, but Luis Severino looked good. David Cohn was breaking it down, saying that he actually has the changeup working early, which we saw him kind of do that last year when he was pitching in relief. But just throwing the changeup more, he was always like power fastball and nasty slider. Always that was his combination. Wouldn't really throw the changeup. We see a lot more changeups early on this year. Health. I mean, just every time you just hold your breath, because he hasn't started since 2019. So long time on the shelf. Just need him to stay healtly. Last year of his deal. So
and they're gonna baby him. They're gonna take their time with him. Especially considering the short spring training. They're going to take their time. As you can see here, 65 pitches against the Red Sox. He struck out 5. He looked pretty good. So I think if the health is there, then maybe that's what the Yankees, Cashman and them have been thinking. Like, we don't need to go out and get a number 2. Severino's there. To me, I'm more of a guy where it's like, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but he did look good last year in a few outings down the stretch. So, that's a big one. But Nestor Cortez for me is definitely a guy I'm looking out for. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Any other thoughts on the week ahead at all? Or I'm pretty much good to go over here.
I would say it's an exciting week ahead. Obviously, we're so early in the season. Week over week. If this is something, we'll get a better look or a better feel of what teams actually are doing. Is this just like a 3-game thing that they look good, or is this sustainable? Especially like we were talking Rockies and Cubs. Exciting right now to start. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yeah.
Some good starts, obviously, with players as well. So hoping to see if we can keep that going.
Yeah, for my Red Sox, I haven't even really touched on my Red Sox all that much. Looking for Rich Hill's debut for the Red Sox this week. And actually, they're going up against an old friend, Eduardo Rodriguez, in the Tigers series. So heartbreaker today for the Red Sox. Again, that's what I get for making fun of Javier Baez last night. So what can you do? But, the Red Sox, they're there. It's just I came into this season. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be a good team. I just don't know if they're good enough. That's the only thing. Like, I think they're good. I just don't know if they're quite there. The pitching hasn't, again, it's going to take a little time. I'm not going to judge this Red Sox team just yet. I mean, they're not losing. They're not getting blown out. They're not really, giving up a whole ton of runs. They're not scoring a ton of runs, but I did like Diekman last night in the 9th. So honestly, good grief, man. He struck out the side. He struck out Judge and Stan. That's a lefty going up against two huge righties. Like what? Like I was holding my breath against Stan. Like I was like, okay. He got by Judge on, what was it, like 81 pitches. But, and then the Stan came up. I'm like, all right, we're screwed. We're done. And then once he went down, I was like, oh, a little bit of Joey Gallo, huh? Okay, Pete Rose is watching from far away. Oh my God,
Joey Gallo didn't have a shot. Joey Gallo did not have a shot.
No, I mean, and that's the matchup they wanted. They wanted to. They were like, all right, just do what you can against these two guys. If you get through these two guys, it's game over. That's probably how they looked at it.
Yeah,
because they knew they weren't gonna, Gallo wasn't gonna have a shot at that. But alrighty. But yeah, everyone, I think we're good. That was a good debut of the week ahead.
Robbie, just wanted to touch base. We had some questions here in the chat. I don't want to skim over them before we.
Yeah. I saw a couple of super chats in there. Let me pull these up.
We had one earlier from Jay Guayo 56 saying, Robbie, what do you think about this Helio Ramos and Joey Bart for the Giants? Appreciate your hard work and giving us great content. Keep it up. Robbie,
thank you, my friend. Thank you for the 5. But yeah, Helio Ramos, Joey Bart, I actually think that's a guy, I wonder if he could be a Rookie of the Year candidate, taking over for Buster Posey. You are going to have Casali there as well, but I think Bart's a guy, keep an eye out for him. Let me actually pull up his numbers really quick. That's a guy I think there was some fatigue with him a little bit, because you're always hearing about Joey Bart. And he's not projected for amazing numbers this year. His slugging and his WRC plus were a little down in the minor leagues, but that's a guy, he's got a ton of power. He's got good raw power. His hit tool has always been a bit of a question mark. He has had some pretty decent batting averages in the minor leagues. So, had a home run the other day. He's got a nice slugging of 800 through 2 games. A nice WRC plus of 249 through 2 games. That's not too shabby. I wonder how much he is going to play. I definitely think they're going to be going with a lot of, Casali and Bart. But I like Bart for the Giants and Ramos. Let me actually pull up Elliot Ramos. I forget they started the minor leagues, not actually no, he's up, right? Oh yeah, he's up. So he's already played. He's been playing already. Was he on the bench? What is going on here? Hold on one second. He is. Oh yeah, he's on the bench. I mean, yeah, this is a guy. He, you could definitely argue a top 100 prospect. He's number 101 on Fangraphs. I believe he's in the 90s when it comes to pipeline and Baseball America might have him in the 80s, but Ramos, I mean, let me share the screen here. Here we go. So with Ramos, Fangraphs, to me, he's always looked like a pretty overall, nice player. Got power, he's got speed. So to me, I like Elliot Ramos. If you take a look at the minor league numbers, his batting average wasn't really great in the minors the last few years, but he's a guy, he's kind of done a little bit of everything. He's gotten some home runs, he's gotten some stolen bases. He's a guy where I think the Giants, they'll plug him in the right spots. That's the one thing about the Giants is they just plug. They're like the Rays. They just plug guys in and they do the matchups really well. I think they're going to manage him very well, and I think they're going to have success with him. Could he end up going back down to the minors? Maybe at AAA in 4 games. He had a slugging of .538. Did they call him up because of like an injury or something? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, overall for Ramos, I just think he kind of does, everything pretty well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for him and Joey Bart. I do like Joey Bart. So what do you think of these guys?
Joey Bart's a stud right now in the baseball card game. I know if you've got a Joey Bart autograph, you're doing well. That's what I'm into as far as like what I know with Joey Bart. Obviously, great young prospect, great catching prospect. He's going to be the future, now that Posey's gone. Ramos, I know he's a good young prospect. I can't speak so much on him. He obviously was called up earlier. Right now at the beginning of the year, he's 2 for 3. So I see that obviously on Baseball Reference, 2 for 3. So good start. But the Giants are going to be good. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be, probably not going to be depending a lot on Ramos, but they're a good team.
Be there, Yeah. But we had another super chat here from Emiliano Brito. Frankie Montas to the White Sox. You saw that? Yeah, we were touching on it earlier. Let's actually see if there's anything else on that.
Nothing yet. Nothing official.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Let me see here. The guys that I'm following. No one else is tweeting about it.
No.
Talking baseball, putting up a clip today. And Alec Boehm, 3 throwing errors in tonight's game. Man, he had a tough play. The first one that they showed, he had a bit of a tough play. But the next one, he had a bad throw. Here, let me share the screen really quick before I talk a little bit about Montas. But yeah, look at this, man. Alec Boehm, man, he was really rough on defense last year. So this is a tough one. So I'm not going to, he probably shouldn't have even made that throw, but that's a bit of a rookie move. But this one here, solid play and just a bad throw. I don't know if he's just got the yips out there. I don't know what's going on with him. His defense was pretty bad. But then taking a look here.
You got to make that.
Man, it's like, he got him though. Did he get him?
I would say this. They talked about, the Phillies defense is not good. Phillies defense is definitely not good. They're going to depend a lot on the bat this year. With Schwarber, Castellanos, Harper, Hoskins, Real Muto. Good luck. And you're going to see a lot of games like this. So,
yeah. It's, Alec Boehm, the bat is definitely looks pretty good, but I don't know, man, that defense. But Emiliano, there is nothing yet official about Frankie Montas. We saw this a little earlier. We did put together a trade. I pulled this up, but I don't think that is going to happen. So let me clear these guys off.
A lot of people in the chat. A lot of people in the chat were saying there's no way Andrew Vaughn's going to get traded 1-for-1. I don't know.
It definitely could.
I wouldn't say there's no way that that's not going to happen. I would say there's a possibility, strong possibility, but straight up.
What are you gonna do? Like, if they're close to a trade, what are you giving up? Everyone? I mean, I'm not saying baseball trade values is the end all be all. We've definitely seen a few trade, but funny enough, those trades that have not been approved by the simulator have all been Padres trades, believe it or not. So take that into
Coincidence?
consideration. What?
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, I know, right? But Vaughn, I mean, the number it makes sense on paper. It matches up on the values. It makes sense. Philosophically. He doesn't. The White Sox have other options. I think Vaughn is the guy that they should stick with, but as of right now, that's another thing I was saying here. Let me close out some of these. Look.
Oh, there we go.
So, but taking a look at the White Sox, I'm wondering if there's something that we just don't know. How severe is Lance Lynn at this time? Don't forget they lost Garrett Crochet too. That was a big arm that they lost out of the bullpen. So I know it's not starting rotation, but still, big arm in the bullpen. But Lance Lynn, is there more going on with his knee, that we don't really know of? He's a big guy. He's 34 years old. Could he end up missing some time? You lost Crochet. What's going on with Joe Kelly? So their bullpen is obviously, it looks great in the back end with Graveman, Hendricks, and Bummer, but they're running a little thin in middle relief here. And then you lost a big lefty arm in Crochet. And then, the rotation all of a sudden, while it was looking pretty good at one point, now it's looking, a little thin. And then Lucas Giolito, he's going to be going on the IL. He's here right now, but Tony La Russa saying that he's probably going to be making a trip to the IL. And, with Montas, this is a guy that's been really durable. So, and then if you go into the playoffs with Lynn, Montas, and Giolito, however they decide to go with those three, that's a really good starting three. I know Lynn and Giolito didn't come up for the White Sox last year in the playoffs, but I mean, I'm just saying, when you go into a playoff series with those three guys, you have a chance. So who knows if this gets done? But yesterday it was just a rumor. But and again, looking here, it said the A's were interested in Andrew Vaughn, but the White Sox were balking at the demand. But that makes me wonder, again, is there a little more, to Lance Lynn maybe? Is he going to miss? Is he going to be out for an extended period of time? Maybe they're pushing a little harder for someone like a guy like Montas. But on paper, it makes sense. Vaughn, he's going to get all the playing time in Oakland. So, yeah, Emiliano, man, there's no way, Bieber, you would not get Shane Bieber, man. Like, Vaughn is good, but Vaughn did not look great last year. The potential is there. He still has a pretty high value of 35.3. But his numbers were not amazing last year. So there's still a lot to be told with Andrew Vaughn. He's not a finished product by any means. So that's why his value is not going to be as high as some of these other young players out there. But I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But Vaughn, to me, makes the most sense unless you're wanting to give, and that's fine. Hey, White Sox fans, that's fine. If you don't want to give up Vaughn, you're going to have to give up everyone else. You're going to have to give up Kath. You're going to have to give up Montgomery. You're going to have to give up probably Sheets. If you're not going to do Vaughn, you're going to have to give up Sheets. You're going to have to probably give up someone like Cespedes, unless they come up, unless the Whites or the A's, unless they see some guys here, that maybe they value some of these lower valued players a little more. So maybe they'll come up with something that we're not really seeing. So we got another super chat here. Let's pull that up here. Who do we got here? Gareth Miller. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Andrew Vaughn. Oh, we're still on this one. Andrew Vaughn is an absolute stud. No way we should be trading him. I would rather they trade Jake Berger or Gavin Sheets. And again, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of White Sox fans would rather do it. But here is the old saying. If you want something good, you have to give up something good. You can't just give up, if I'm going to go to I don't know, this is a good analogy. If I want to go get a ribeye at a fancy restaurant, I can't just give up, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If you want, you got to pay for it. Can't just be going, I'll give you $5 for this ribeye. All right, $5, that's pretty good. You can't do that. So you have to, Montas is not a bum. This is a guy, he's going to give you a lot of innings, good innings, and that's what the White Sox need right now. They're all of a sudden very thin. Sorry, what do you say?
And he's under control. He is under control for another 2 years. You can't go
out
it's
not like he's a free agent at the end of this year. If you get Frankie Montas, you got him for a couple more years. But that's another thing, too. A lot of these teams, they have been, you've noticed this lately, we saw it with Matt Olson, we saw it with Jose Barrios. They've been trading for these guys, but they're locking them up to long-term extensions. So I could see the White Sox, if they do go get Montas, they could sign him to a long-term deal. And so maybe they see there's more value in that than keeping someone like Andrew Vaughn for, obviously Vaughn is not a free agent for a long time, but maybe they just see more value in that, and they just feel like right now they're a team that this is a win now team. That White Sox team should have done a lot better last year. I'll be honest, they should have beaten the White Sox last year. The White Sox, they were a good team, so unfortunately their guys just didn't step up enough in the playoffs. So it's a win now team. Their window is now. And Vaughn, yeah, sure, that's the future, but your window is now. So, yes, obviously it'd be great to hang on to Vaughn, but they don't. That's the problem. The White Sox, they don't. If they had this is why the Dodgers are such a dangerous team, where they are so. It's an amazing organization. When you look at not just the major league team, their farm system is just stupid. Like they got all these guys in their farm system that they can include in trades. And watch the Dodgers. They're going to make another deal at this trade deadline. They did, the Scherzer Turner deal. I guarantee you they're going to do another one. So, because they have those prospects and they got guys in that farm system, they might not even need these guys, so that's where, yes, the major league team, that's obviously important to address, but you got to rely on player development too. And the White Sox have failed in that. Well, not really failed, I would say, but they're all of a sudden very thin in their farm. So I don't know, but what do you think? Do you think Montas in the end would be a good addition for them?
I would say ultimately, I know we got a lot of people in the chat saying like, there's no way they trade Vaughn. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
There's no way to trade Vaughn. I would say ultimately it's up to what do the White Sox value right now? Do they value having another starting pitcher, possibly number 2, 3 in the rotation behind Giolito with Cease, with Keuchel? Do they value that, or do they value having another first baseman outfielder? I know AJ Pollock is getting older. I know Jose Abreu is getting older. But, like you said, Robbie, what do they value right now? Do they feel like having that piece is going to get them further right now? Or do they feel like having a starting pitcher is going to get them further? And that ultimately is going to make the decision on what they're going to do. Hey, we may not see anything get done. We may see something get done.
It's very possible that this is, nothing's going on. Yeah. We could be making something out of nothing right now. But yeah, Emilio Brito, I'm seeing you said here in the chat, Montas had one great year and a decent 2021. I disagree with last year being decent. 2019, again, I believe that's the year he got suspended. But he was looking really good there. Through 16 starts, he was already a 3 wins above replacement on Fangraphs. That was through half of the season. And if he had pitched that whole season, you're looking at a 6-win pitcher right there. And then 2021, he was a 4-win pitcher last year. He was one of the better pitchers in the game. He made all the starts. To me, I don't think Montas is, I think people, they don't see him as like this top guy. I don't think he's a top ace kind of a guy. I think he's a really good 2 in a rotation, or an extremely good number 3. So I don't think he's, don't sleep on someone like Montas. There's obviously a reason he has a high value. Seeing another one from Gareth Miller here. Let's pull that up. Gareth Miller, here we go. Gareth Miller, if we wanted to have a better staff, we should have been aggressive in the offseason and not trade away our young talent like we did with Tatis Jr. Oh, man. Oh, man. Honestly, I thought they maybe could have gone out for a starting pitcher. I'm sure they tried. Eric Fenton, I completely disagree with Montas being the 4 or 5 starter. Even if they're fully healthy, no way. He's at least their 3, behind Lynn and Giolito. Yeah, I disagree. But Gareth Miller, maybe they could have. I'm sure they tried. They were connected with other guys. I love the Graveman move for them. I thought that was great. They were also connected with Michael Conforto. There was actually a report out here today with Michael Conforto. It looked like my Red Sox are possibly looking at Michael Conforto. What is going on here? Michael Conforto. Here, let's get off Frankie Montas here for a second, and let's go take a look at this story. Could you imagine the Red Sox getting Michael Conforto? I mean, look at, put your hand over the Guardians side, and it actually looks pretty good. Michael Conforto in a Red Sox uniform. He'd be great for the Guardians too. But supposedly, the Guardians and the Red Sox are the front runners for Conforto. What the heck is going on here? The Red Sox reportedly reached out to Conforto on Monday. Oh, here's Mike Deportes again. Mike Deportes, he's on fire, man. What's going on with him? But, I mean, Conforto, if we take a look at the Red Sox right now, let's switch the Sox here. Let's go to the Red Sox. So, with Conforto, it's interesting because you got Bradley, and obviously he would be an improvement over Bradley. So at that point, Bradley would be your 4th outfielder, I would think. And, but yeah, you're very, at that point, let me pull up Conforto here. With Conforto, you're very lefty heavy, I think last year was a bit of a downer for him, but I think he's going to bounce back. Some of his advanced numbers looked a lot better. Actually, if we go to StatCast here, let's go to StatCast. But his batting average was about 20 points higher than his average. His expected slugging was 435 compared to 384. His ex-WOBA was 350, which was, I believe it was right around his 2021. Yeah, so a little higher than his actual on base. But Conforto would be interesting for the Red Sox. What do you think about that? Do you think that would be a good route for the Red Sox, or what do you think?
I just don't see where he's going to play.
He would play right over Bradley. I mean, that's the only. But I like Bradley's glove out there.
But then what are you going to do with these guys? Because now they've got Arroyo out there playing right field. You got Jackie Bradley Jr. What are you doing with those two? What are you doing with those two guys if you sign Conforto?
Yeah. I don't know. I just wonder if it's like kind of like a kicking the tires kind of a move. Maybe there's another team in the East, possibly, maybe they're just trying to drive up price or something. I don't know. But the Guardians, I think, would be really fun. That would be awesome. I mean, they could definitely use. I mean, the offense obviously with Kwan is looking amazing, but you got Oscar Mercado, out here right now.
They should be all over him.
Yeah, I mean,
Cleveland should be all over him. That makes sense.
Last year Mercado, he didn't really do all that much. To me, Conforto makes a ton of sense for the Guardians. Will they spend the money? That's the only. I mean, how much is it going to cost to get Conforto? I have no idea. I don't know, man. But I think he would make a lot of sense for them. That's a great bat for them to add. That's what I'm thinking. But it's funny how he's still not on a team. It's crazy. Like we've already started this season and everyone's kind of forgotten about Michael Conforto. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for Conforto. We're going to have to keep an eye out for Frankie Montas. Again, we saw this about, an hour ago? About an hour on the dot, 10:46 right now, and he posted this at 9:46. So White Sox close to acquiring Montas. Will it happen? I don't know. It's either going to cost you Vaughn or it's going to cost you a ton of prospects. It would cost you at least five of the White Sox prospects because they're just not very high valued, at least at this time. So I think that's where we're going to end it here. Hey, good, successful first episode of the week ahead. I really enjoyed this tonight. This was good. This is good. It's kind of nice. It's not sitting here and just rambling like the potato that I am, just at my desk. It's kind of nice to have someone to just talk to, But yeah, I definitely want to be doing this every Monday night. We're gonna be kind of just doing a schedule here. Sunday nights we'll be doing power rankings. Monday nights, me and Josh will be here talking about the week ahead. Tuesdays, kind of a flexible sort of a day where maybe we'll do a watch along or I'll do MLB The Show. Wednesdays, we'll probably do hot takes. And then Thursdays, probably another flexible kind of a day. But I plan on being live Sunday through Thursday night. Before I do get out of here, everyone, don't forget, if you can, hit that subscribe button, the like button. Also, we have a partnership here with PrizePicks. If you're looking to maybe win a buck, go take a look over at PrizePicks. You can do some over-unders, try and beat the system over there, see if you can win yourself a few bucks. And we also have a new partnership with SeatGeek. Use code Hyde for $20 off your first purchase. So, all righty. But everyone, thank you for coming out tonight. Josh, thank you. This was great. I really enjoyed this. This is very nice.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, buddy. I love doing this. We've been talking about this for a long time, so I'm happy to be here. A lot of great conversation here in the chat tonight. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, well, alrighty. Well, Josh, have yourself a good night. Everyone, have a good night, and we'll talk to you next time.